Hello and welcome. It is the 25th day of August 2022, and yes, it is yet another beautiful day to bring you the newspaper review here on TAP TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and thank you so much for joining us. Taking a look at the papers with me today, as usual, is Mr. Victor Sioku. You're very much welcome to join me, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Feels good to have you.
Perfect.
And a quick dive away from the world of politics for now. Let's just go into the world of football right now, at least before we go straight to the business of the day. The transfer window is about to come to an end, I think, tomorrow. So what do you make of these last few hours for some teams who are yet to make some statement signings, and of course some teams who are looking to also complete some major signings before the window shuts down?
You caught me on this. Okay, let me use Manchester United. I think they are making a panic buy. Okay, the highest guy they want to buy is Anthony.
Yeah.
Is a panic buy for me. Okay,
Why
Anthony.
do you think so?
To buy Anthony for about 90 million euros is too much. It's too much because I don't see him as that player that can bring in quality football at that rate. Okay, but it's good business for Ajax because Ajax, they do 120 million per annum in terms of revenue. So imagine selling one player for 90 million when you do revenue of 120 million.
So in essence, you're saying that Ajax right now are using Manchester United to cash out.
Yes. See, it is wasteful of Man U.
Okay.
Go check. Well, we have some.
In terms of quality, Anthony actually looks promising, though.
You think Anthony for 90 million is good money?
Come on, I mean, how much? Okay, before they bought Sancho for the amount they did, how much was Sancho in the market then?
Now, is Sancho playing what they bought him for?
Maybe he's yet to pick form as a result of the tactics of the managers.
Man U is wasteful. What's their name? Chelsea is wasteful. Okay, look at. Can you compare Antonio with Haaland?
Okay.
You cannot compare that.
Okay. All right. Let's not dwell much on sports. That's not the reason why we are here. That's enough of the sports we can have for now. Let's move straight to our first paper for today, which is the Daily Sun. And one of the most interesting headlines in Daily Sun here says, IBB Abdul Salami Dogara Babachir meet over Tinubu Shetima tickets. IBB Abdul Salami Dogara Babachir meet over Tinubu Shetima tickets. Two top northern Christians seek ex-leaders' support in opposition to same faith candidacy. That's on page 6 of the Daily Sun. And on page 6 as well of Daily Sun, we have Atiku WIKE fight takes new turn. Atiku WIKE fight takes new turn. Okay, that's on page 6. And on page 30, we have Enugu 2023. Ohaneze backs Ugwanyi's choice of successor in zoning. Ohaneze backs Ugwanyi's choice of successor in zoning. That's on page 30. And on page 13, we have strike. Our members now borrowing to survive, according to ASUU. ASUU president, I beg your pardon, says our members now borrowing to survive. That's ASUU president saying on page 13. That's a very sad one there from ASUU. And on page 28, we have Bianca Ojukwu suggests ways Igbo man can become president. That's on page 28. And on page 27, we have Sanwo-Olu flags off food logistics hub in Epe. That's on page 27. And lastly, on page 27 as well, we have IPOB makes burial within 3 days of death compulsory in Southeast. IPOB makes burial within 3 days of death compulsory in Southeast. Vows to shut down mortuaries in zone. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Daily Sun. Mr. Victor, which of the headlines do you want to talk about? Which of them do you want to react to?
Before I react to the weekend news, let me talk about the IPOB giving an ultimatum of 3 days to bury your loved ones and to make burials in Igbo land. My brother, it might sound cool because sometimes some families can stay so long to bury their loved one because of money. But I know why they are pushing for 3 days. That see, you do not even need to go and break the bank. trying to bury your loved one, just like the Islamic rite. What happens there? They don't break banks. Just somebody dies, you go bury the person, and everybody goes. Okay, but I'm very sure the traditional rulers won't like this because it's not favorable to the Nzes and the others of the Igbos community.
It's against
the Igbo community,
tradition.
yes, and they make so much money out of that. But let's just push that away. WIKE, the WIKE news and the WIKE article news. So a whole lot is happening behind the scene, a whole lot. And right now, the PDP are considering, in quote, whether they should sanction WIKE. But there are some party stalwarts that are out there saying, see, don't try this. You do not need to sanction this man because he is powerful, and we cannot shy away from that. Because when you go by the numbers, like I mentioned yesterday, WIKE has the numbers and he has a whole bunch of followers around him. Okay, now let's go a bit backwards. Now on Tuesday there was a meeting. In fact, the meeting has been over-confirmed that WIKE with Tinubu and the governor of Lagos State and the governor of Ekiti State, Sanwo-Olu and Fayemi respectively, they were together and they had a very cordial meeting. And there are reports, strong reports, saying that he might join the APC. Yes, he might join the APC. Huh, a whole lot of detail. I don't want to spend so much time.
Do you see that happening?
Politics, interest, and this time interest and numbers. So it is possible. And mind you, nothing is impossible in politics. So far that once interest is protected, anything goes. Okay, but there are stronger persons from the PDP, like the BOT, one of the BOT members, Tabgon from Mr. Tabgon, former governor of Plateau State, came out to say, see, enough is enough. Let's find a way and settle this now. He's calling on the articles wing to comfort. See, let's bring down our egos and bring back our family members back, because he does not see them winning the election, the presidential election, without WIKE. Okay, well, and for the APC, they are rejoicing that they are trying to win a soul, a big soul to their kingdom. So a whole lot of panicking is happening. And come to think of it, still yesterday there was a meeting with the chairman of the party, Senator Aisha Ayo, him and the 28 governors, gubernatorial candidates rather, of 28 states. Mind you, we have 36 states, but not all states are going for the 2023 general elections. Okay, so they were together in a meeting yesterday. What were they trying to mend fences? But how you came out to also say that, see, you see this resignation they are telling me to do, the WIKE's camp, that he will not try it, that he will make sure that he presides over the election come 2023.
Well, a quick one, Mr. Victor, before we draw the curtain on this particular headline. Do you see WIKE and Atiku, making up before the elections? Do you see them coming back together?
Yes, but the possibilities is really dwindling. Right now, I think WIKE is so steadfast and so strong with what he wants. Okay. I think, personally, if they want this to work, Atiku should calm down, okay? Just find a way and amend ways.
All right, so moving now to the Vanguard, we have in page 5, this one says 2023, WIKE will work for Tinubu, says MASARI as Atiku jet out. WIKE will work for Tinubu, says MASARI as Atiku jet out. And on page 3, we have Nigeria's economy on verge of collapse. Nigeria's economy on verge of collapse. That's according to Sanusi on page 3 of the Vanguard. And next, on page 3 as well, we have NLC calls for downward review of media operating licenses. NLC calls for downward review of media operating licenses. That's on page 3. And on page 3 as well, we have 2023. Labour Party denies rift between Utomi, Obi over campaign funds. Labour Party denies rift between Utomi, Obi over campaign funds. Okay, and next we have on page 4, this one says insecurity. Why Abuja Kaduna train services can't resume now. Why Abuja Kaduna train services can't resume now, according to federal government. That's on page 4. And next, We have on page 19, this one says, poor revenue. Poor revenue. Government's borrowing from banks rise to 20.1 trillion naira. Wow, that's on page 19 of the Vanguard. And on page 12, we have no work, no pay. You have forfeited rights to salaries, labor leaders, NECA. Others tell ASUU. Says you have forfeited rights to salaries, labor leaders, NECA, and others tell ASUU. That's on page 12. Lastly, on page 6, we have insecurity. Bandits occupy homes in Katsina villages, enslave owners. Okay, that's a very sad one there on page 6. If you want more details of the Vanguard, do get a copy of the papers for yourself. Okay, that's the much you can take, Mr. Victor. Which of the headlines do you want to react to?
Okay, I would love to talk about Sanusi talking about the economy heading for a collapse, state of collapse. Yes. Okay. So there was an event called August Event 2022 where himself and the management of St. Nicholas Hospital in Ikeja, they were together to talk about the economy. Okay, he made a very solid point that really touched my mind and touched my heart rather, where he said that, see, if you find out that the major owners of the economy, teachers and the doctors, okay, or medical practitioners, that they are not being taken care in this country. Okay?
Obviously.
Okay. So, and he stated the obvious. He stated that most of these persons, our teachers and our medical practitioners, they are not even asking for huge money when you compare it with the world standard.
Exactly.
They just want to live a normal life, standard life. They are not asking for too much like these politicians. Okay? So, when they don't get to live a standard life, what are we talking about a standard life? A family of 4 should live in at least a 2-bedroom apartment, a comfortable 2-bedroom apartment. But in some cases, when you go to some lecturers, especially the young lecturers, when you see where they live, you cry for them. And see, let's also face the fact that studying is not an easy venture.
Exactly.
Going to school is not easy. And when you come out and compare yourself with persons that have not put in work versus yourself that have put in work
To study,
to stay sane, because you work every day trying to do one research or the other.
to get updated.
Yes. And you find out that, see, your standard of living is too poor. And when you go and see what's happening with the invent of the internet, you see what other lecturers are doing out there, what then happens? You look for scholarships. And when you get those scholarships, you leave the country. And for the medical practitioners, when they see openings, they leave. And many of them will never want to come back. Like one I know, a doctor I know, he said he will never come back to this country.
Who would want to come back, actually? Who would want to come back, given the state of things?
So
right
when Nigeria has prioritized subsidy to education and health, what then happens? We are spending over 6 trillion on subsidy, while ASUU is asking for 1.1 trillion to revitalize the education sector, and the government are playing around with them.
And that goes a long way to tell you how much they don't really value education in the country.
Yes. And it's causing a whole lot of problems for the economy. When the lecturers can't teach anymore, what happens to the teeming youth that are supposed to take care of the economy, that are supposed to launch and vitalize the economy? What then happens? So it's unfortunate. They all know this, and they don't want to do anything about it. Especially this time that politics is the number one burner.
Mr. Victor, let's not stress too much on that particular headline. Let's move straight now to our next and last paper for the day, which is The Nation. And one of the very first headline, Nation here says, PDP crisis. PDP crisis. Stop bragging. Lamido tells WIKE supporters. Says, stop bragging. Lamido tells WIKE supporters. Ex-governor faults PDP Board of Trustees chair's stand on party leadership. Okay? And another interesting headline here says, ASUU plans indefinite strike. Congresses end in 123 branches today. Okay? And on page 3, we have $33 million power deal. Finance power ministers to face reps. $33 million power deal. Finance power ministers to face reps. Okay, that's on page 3 of The Nation. And on page 4, we have INEC, EFCC disagree on Electoral Offences Commission Bill. INEC, EFCC disagree on Electoral Offences Commission Bill. That's on page 4. And on page 7, we have Zenith post 405 billion naira gross earnings in 6 months. Zenith post 405 billion naira gross earnings in 6 months. And lastly, on page 3, we have NEPZA, NEPZA. NEPZA asked to refund 13.3 billion naira to government coffers. Right, that's the much we can take in The Nation, and of course the papers for today. Mr. Victor, which of the headlines interest you?
ASUU strike, they might be heading to indefinite. Remember since February 14th?
Do you blame them?
Currently, right now, no.
Okay.
So what is happening? The government have come out to say, see, we've agreed to all your terms, okay? And what are the terms? Still terms. One, revitalize the institutions and give us we're talking about a budget of 1.1 trillion naira. The payment platform, the IPs, the government platform, which is the IPs, that it's not favorable for them, that they want to use the UTAS. UTAS, the one that they on their own established. Okay? Okay. And also pay us backlogs of our allowances. Okay. Allowances, not even salaries, allowances. Okay. Now, it is said that the government, in quotes, has accepted all those offers. But what is now the front burner, the issue? That the government have refused to pay them the 6 months that they've not worked. Okay? The president already gave that mandate that, see, no work, no pay. So they are now saying, see, if you're telling us no work, no pay, no problem, but we will start a new session. Let's start a new session. Let it now be that the students has lost 1 year. But the government is asking them to see, no, the session, you must go and complete. You see the problem?
Okay.
But they are insisting, no. If you're not paying us, let's start on a new slate, meaning a new session will start. You see the issues?
Okay.
So, but now, if you read all of...
Now, the students are the ones to suffer now.
Yeah, 2 elephants are fighting. What do you expect?
Wow.
So, but I still have some additions to all these ASUU things. I just pray that after this, if they are able to not go on indefinite strike, come and meet at the middle, okay? I will also want the Nigerian students to also note that, see, when it comes to education, our country, Nigeria, cannot carry it if we want to meet the standards of this world. Okay? Education is expensive. If you go outside the country, you find out that education is expensive. Let's take the UK, for instance. Right now, they are talking, the government of the UK, they are talking right now that, see, their tuition should be targeted around £22,000 per annum.
Wow.
But in Nigerian universities, some universities still pay less than 100,000 naira, which is about $150. Okay? So, but when you also check it, see, if we want to run our universities real good, the government cannot carry this budget, because even our budget cannot carry the entire universities in this country. If government says that it wants to keep to the standard of this world, they will not meet up. Reason why the Parent Teachers Association came out to say, see, let parents be donating 10,000 10,000 per year to the coffers of the university. But that is not enough. If the UK can say, see, their students, if I look at even what is happening in the UK, they are admitting more of foreigners, because foreigners pay about 13 to 22,000 pounds Okay, so they admit more of foreigners because they know that the foreigners will bring the money so that they'll run their universities. Right now, they are saying that it's not even enough. They are, mind you, they are accommodating they are admitting a whole lot of foreigners against their own students just so that they will have enough funds to run their institutions. But now they are saying, see, it's still not even enough. Our homegrown students should come and pay what these foreigners are paying. What does that tell you? Education is expensive. We cannot shy away from that. That's why when you go to some schools, you find that 50 students, a class of 50 students, 300 students will be in there. Why? Because there is no proper infrastructure. And to do this infrastructure, you need money. And by the time you carry all this load to put on the head of the government, my brother, with the state of the affairs of this country, we do not have those funds to take care of the education system. Already some persons are coming out to also say that this Abacha loot, they should carry all the whole Abacha loot and be directing it down to the education sector. Okay. But with these politicians, overzealous politicians agree to that. I do not think so.
All right, Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time
on
the program today. Really do appreciate.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you,
and as for you who has been watching us and sticking there, we say thank you because without you, we would not be here. This is where we have to draw the curtain on the program for today. My name is Cyril Aloysius. Thank you so much for staying faithful to your screen. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. You can check us out on YouTube, we're at TAF TV. On Instagram, we're at TAF TV_NG. On Facebook, we're at TAF TV. And on Twitter, we're at TAF TV. And don't forget to visit www.tafmedia.com to get informed and updated in all areas and aspects of life. Thank you so much once again. Until we come here again next time, do have a blessed and wonderful day.